Hey, what are you doing on March 6th and 7th? How about making your way to DX3 in Toronto for a 2-day deep dive into digital marketing, digital advertising, and digital retailing? Along with a free exhibit hall, there are going to be over 40 sessions, including speakers from Microsoft, Salesforce.com, Google, Well.ca, Facebook, Lowe's, and Mountain Equipment Co-op. Come see what one attendee called a rare thing in the digital world. Register at www.dx3canada.com today. See you there. Hey everybody, my name is Rob Woodbridge from Untethered.tv. What you're about to see here is a clip, a short clip of a much longer episode. It can be found on Untethered.tv. So if you really are interested in this, go to Untethered.tv, do a search for this title, and you'll find it there. But enjoy this short clip. I mean, how did you refine this business idea? And then you raised money, of all things, to be able to go out and do this. You raised $500,000, right?
Yeah. So if we step back first, some of what we have is paid. So the majority of what we have on the site is completely free. So you can do all the functions. You can create both websites, the story page and the custom one, without paying anything. It's just if you want some add-ons and some extra things, to bells and whistles to make it that much more, that's where we have a pro plan for that.
Okay.
And then if we step further back from there, so refining the business idea, that's a story in itself, man.
Usually is.
We came in, so FounderFuel started last year about this time. We came in with a completely different idea. It was not even related to mobile
Okay,
apps.
what was the idea?
So that idea was based on influence marketing. So using people, not using people, but allowing people to sort of leverage their own influence to share things that they enjoy, and they might get something in return for that. But we were trying to create it so it wasn't crap. You know, we didn't want this like weird tap on the back sort of service. So we were playing with that for the first couple weeks in FounderFuel, and then we had a mentor day, which is when you meet with like 200 top tech people in Canada and they all shit on your business. So that's exactly what happened. And I'm gonna email you. I should probably email you a picture of their. We took a picture of their faces when we were explaining the idea to them, and it was the best pictures. Whenever we show it at a conference or a talk, people just start dying.
And it was absolute like was it confusion, bewilderment? They didn't know what you're talking about. What was it?
Yeah, it was kind of like, how did you get in? It was kind of like, yeah, all of those things into one. But we're pretty good at taking feedback in and really talking with a lot of people. So,
do you remember one piece of feedback that they gave you at the time? Like, was there anybody that stuck out in your mind at that time that just said something that you can call them out here on?
There was a lot. I mean, I remember our notepad. It was at a hotel, and they give you one of the little notepads. I remember not being able to read anything I wrote on them after, but we filled up the whole thing, and I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do, guys, because like everything that we had, we were there probably till 11 p.m. I can't put my finger on any one specific thing that made us turn that day into something new. But
how does that feel, though, Mikeal? How does that feel? Like, you've got a semblance of an idea. It doesn't sound like you've got it really baked at this point, but you're in there. You've made it in there. So there's a little bit of momentum. You're feeling a little bit confident, and then you walk into this brick wall of stunned and amazed people that are trying to figure out what your business is.
Yeah.
So it's 11 o'clock that night. You've got pages of notes. You've just basically been reamed, and you look at your co-founders and say, "What? Like, demoralized, drunk? Like what?"
That was that was the lowest and hardest day I've ever experienced. Probably ever experienced.
Wow.
So you're sitting there, you have nothing, you have 11 weeks left. You're competing against companies and teams that have been working on their company for 2 years, and you're thinking how, because maybe one of these companies is going to get a follow-on investment. So how do you say in 11 weeks we're going to be able to go up on demo day in front of even more people? We're going to go up in front of 1,000 people, and they're going to be interested enough to give us money to continue. So you don't know at all. We're 2 weeks in, you know, we don't know anything. And I remember we did sit there. We were very resilient and not hard on each other. I think that was important. Like there was no blame. Oh, hey, maybe it was the designs of the slides. You know, we suck at that. You suck. You know, there was none of that stuff, which I think was really good. But it was hard to say that there would be anything positive necessarily that we said to one another. It was kind of just like we're just kind of sitting there. Oh man.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can only imagine. And you know, if you look at Dragon's Den or Shark Tank in the U.S., you know, the equivalent. And I mean, I get the picture that kind of these kind of mentor days are like that. It's like, you know, no holds barred. And I've done a couple of these. And in fact, people have pulled me aside and said, hey, listen, Rob, could you be a little bit less honest with your feedback? And you know, it just sounds to me like, no, if you're sitting there in front of me pitching an idea and I think it's crappy, I'm going to tell you my opinion. Now what you do with that is your own, but
yes.
But if you're not honest, and it sounds like they were honest, then you're doing a disservice to the entrepreneur. It's like that person who gets up on karaoke night and is terrible and people applaud and they get back up because they think they're good, right? So
100%.
Not saying that I think that you're not a good karaoke singer, but so you left there and then you regroup. And how did you land on this idea then?
So I had this, you know, I use notes and I just store sort of any startup idea I've ever had.
Nice. And
you know, I kind of, there was that Jack Dorsey interview on YouTube. I think he did it with Kevin Rose, and he was talking about how it's okay to put things on the shelf. So like Twitter was on the shelf. He's got ideas, and that's sort of my shelf. So if there's ever a moment like this moment, this is what it was kind of created for. If you need to come up with an idea
you need to get what idea do we have?
Exactly.
Anyone here? Yeah.
When you have that much pressure and you're trying to be creative and come up with a life-changing idea, it would be super, super hard not to start anywhere, I think. So I had probably 11 or 12 ideas, and we basically put them on a whiteboard one night. I think it was the night after, and we just started hammering into every idea, like which one. And this idea was not on that list. So we went through all of those, and it wasn't even there.
Did you ever think, oh, I quit? Like, did you ever think, like, was there ever a point in that conversation where you're like, yeah, I'm out. I'm done. There's nothing here.
There was never an I quit, and there was never an I quit from any of us. Yes. So I think that was super important.
All right.
Because knowing that we could get out of there doesn't matter what happens now. Like if this happened, you know, we one of our competitors or something surpasses us and gets more funding and releases the thing we're going to release next. We are unfazed, and it's pretty cool to have that because of that moment.
All right, so you've got these 11 ideas on the board. None of them are hitting what you guys want to hit. You're running out of time.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, OOMF just what? Like it sounds. Somebody punched you in the gut, and it's like, oh, I got it.
That's funny you say that, because we were at Noodles' place on Saint Laurent. It's me and one of my co-founders. And I added some hot sauce. That's exactly it. So I had this punch in the stomach. So we were like, oh, this is really good food. And then we're like, hey, you know, Apple requires everybody to have websites. You know, when you go through apps and everything, and then you click over and you see the website, a lot of those look like crap. Why don't we make them look really good and really easy to make? And that was the whole sort of start.
That was it.
Of everything. Yeah. It was just, we were on our phones. So we were on our phones, checking into Foursquare, whatever, going in the App Store, because we're looking for ideas at this point. we're clicking over, we're looking at websites, and we're like, man, why can't we just make it really, there's so many. They're like, I don't know how many, we didn't do the research at that point yet, but we're like, there's got to be tons. So what if everyone's required? It's like the government saying, everybody, you have to have a website. So we're like, hey, why don't we make websites for all these people and make it really, really easy? So then that's where it all started.